At a museum in Greece, a tour guide is explaining to visitors about a mythical staff from Homeric mythology said to harness the power of all the gods. Suddenly, two figures in Spartan military uniforms appear at the exhibit. They shatter the protective glass, setting off alarms, and the panicked guide calls for security. The armored pair remove their helmets, revealing their identities as Hesper and Calypso, the eldest daughters of Atlas. They grab the staff, and instantly, their ancient powers return. Calypso wastes no time using mind control magic to turn the security guards into mindless servants. The spell spreads quickly, and soon, the entire museum staff is under her control, causing chaos as terrified guests try to flee. The automated security system activates, sealing every exit with heavy metal barriers, trapping everyone inside. Annoyed by the mess, Hesper unleashes her elemental powers, turning the museum's marble statues into restraints that hold the escaping people, essentially turning them into living exhibits. Calypso turns to her sister. The champions of man are still men, and we are gods. But Hesper, ever the cautious one, warns, do not underestimate the old wizard's judgment. He must have chosen with meticulous precision. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, Billy Batson, in his Shazam form, is venting to his pediatrician as if talking to a therapist. He's frustrated that even with superpowers, his family is starting to drift apart. Each sibling wants to live their own life instead of fighting crime together. It hurts, and he feels like he's losing the team. After the appointment, Billy returns home and falls back into his usual routine of playing video games. But when he sees his brother Freddy sneaking out for unknown reasons, he becomes suspicious. Grabbing Freddy's phone, he hears a police radio conversation about a bridge collapse. Immediately, Billy enthusiastically prepares for action. He calls the rest of his siblings, and they fly together to the Benjamin Franklin Bridge. It is a scene of disaster. An overturned fire truck has caused a massive explosion, and the bridge's entire suspension structure is on the verge of collapse. Steel cables are snapping, the asphalt is cracking, and cars are beginning to slide toward the edge, ready to plunge into the Delaware River. The Shazam family springs into action, rescuing people from falling cars while Peter tries to weld the broken cables back together. But for everyone he fixes, 5 more snap, and the whole bridge groans as if it's about to break. After a few chaotic minutes, they manage to get all the civilians out of the danger zone, but the bridge itself gives way, crashing into the river below. Shaken by the near disaster, Billy realizes they need a serious family meeting. He finds Eugene, who is busy mapping the door room, a place filled with dimensional portals to other places in the universe. If they wanted a chance to win, they needed to get organized fast. After a few minutes of searching, Billy finally sees his brother being thrown out of the room by a giant monster. Without hesitation, he grabs him and drags him to the meeting room. Once everyone is assembled, Billy tries to start a serious discussion, pointing out everyone's mistakes and how they need to improve if they're going to work together, but Mary is barely listening, her head still buried in her organic chemistry book. Freddy quickly makes up a lame excuse to leave, and Eugene mutters something about needing a shower because the monster's drool is burning his skin. One by one, the remaining members also leave, leaving Billy alone in the empty room talking to himself. At school, Freddy is wandering through the halls when he bumps into Anne, a new student looking for a specific classroom. He offers to show her the way, but before they get far, a couple of bullies show up and start teasing him, even bending his crutch for fun. Before things go too far, a teacher intervenes to break it up, and the thugs back off. Freddy, trying to play it cool, continues with Anne, dropping hints about how close he is with the local superheroes. He even boasts that Superman once had lunch with him in the cafeteria, clearly trying to impress her. Meanwhile, in the realm of the gods, Hesper and Calypso find their way to the dungeon where the wizard Shazam is in chains. Confronting the old sorcerer, they mock him, showing off the staff they just recovered. They brag about regaining their powers, elemental magic and chaos, everything, and watch the wizard's curiosity grow, but they have no time for small talk. With a flick of their hands, they use their telekinetic abilities to pull him to the edge of the cell, forcing him to weld the 2 broken halves of the staff back together. He hesitates, but their mind control magic gives him no choice. As the pieces come together, the wizard lunges, trying to snatch the staff from their hands, but Hesper blasts him back with a stream of pure power. He hits the ground hard, but in the chaos, he manages to hide a small splinter of the staff in his hand. Using the fragment, he whispers an incantation, sending a secret message to his champion. Cut to Paris, where Shazam is having dinner with Wonder Woman. Everything is going great until, suddenly, the wizard's face abruptly appears on Diana's body. He warns that the daughters of Atlas are coming, and they plan to take over the world, including his family. The wizard tries to explain how to stop them, but before he can finish, the splinter's magic runs out. Billy jolts awake the next morning, still trying to piece together what just happened. Later in the school cafeteria, Freddy is sitting around when Anne shows up again. She asks him to show her the exact spot where he supposedly ate with the heroes. But before he can turn on the charm, Billy storms in, dragging him away for an emergency meeting. Once everyone is gathered, Shazam tells them about the strange dream and the warning from the wizard. He even admits to doing a quick Google search for the Daughters of Atlas, but not much came up. Realizing they need real answers, Peter speaks up, saying he might know someone who can help. He leads them through a secret passage he found while messing with the Rock of Eternity, which opens up into a massive ancient library. There, he introduces the group to Steve, a magical pen that seems to know everything in the universe. Billy, seizing the opportunity, asks Steve about the Daughters of Atlas. Without a moment's hesitation, the pen begins scribbling out a list of all the books that mention them, making their research much easier. While the siblings are busy, Freddy takes Anne to the school rooftop. He's still trying to impress her, so he keeps hinting at his superhero connections. To seal the deal, he asks if she wants to actually meet a superhero. Without waiting for an answer, he steps back, slips around a corner, and transforms into his superhero form. He steps out, still playing it cool, and conveniently leaves out the detail that he is, in fact, still Freddy. While he's at peak confidence back in the library, Billy and the siblings are finally putting the pieces together. They dig into the ancient texts and discover that the staff was originally created by Atlas himself, using wood from the Tree of Life. According to Mary, the weapon can absorb and store the powers of other gods. Basically, it's a giant magical battery. As they dig deeper, they learn that after the war between the gods and titans, some human sorcerers got a hold of the staff and used it to imprison other gods, transferring their powers to their chosen champion. While still sorting through the information, they see a news report about the museum attack and immediately suspect the two attackers are the Daughters of Atlas. But something catches Peter's eye. One of the books says Atlas had 3 daughters, Hesper, Calypso, and the youngest, Anthea. The moment Billy hears the third name, his brain clicks. He remembers Freddy mentioning hanging out with a girl named Anne. He deduces this Anne might be the third sister, but before he can get close, Hesper and Calypso appear on the rooftop. Hesper strikes Freddy hard in the chest with the staff, and he immediately reverts to his normal, powerless form. Panicked, Freddy tries to transform again, but nothing happens. The staff has completely drained his powers, turning him back into a regular, non-powered kid. Hesper, without wasting a second, kicks his crutch away, stands over him, and demands he tell her where the rest of his family is. But Calypso, glancing over the edge of the roof, spots Billy flying toward them in the distance. "No need," she says with a sinister smile. To stop Billy from reaching them, Anthea, who was clearly playing a double agent, suddenly shifts the entire structure of the surrounding buildings, warping the landscape until Billy crashes headfirst into a brick wall. But his siblings are not far behind, and the sisters quickly realize they're about to have a real fight on their hands. Seeing this as a chance to gain more power, Calypso suggests they attack the whole family at once. But Hesper and Anthea stop her, reminding her that their real goal is the Seed of Life and they cannot risk their mission. As the rest of the Shazam family gets closer, Hesper grabs Freddy and soars into the sky, erecting a massive dome around the entire city to keep the others from getting in. Desperate to save his brother, Billy fires a lightning bolt at the barrier, but it just bounces off. Completely ineffective. All he can do is watch as his brother is dragged away. Back in the realm of the gods, Freddy wakes up in a dungeon, chained next to the wizard Shazam. He starts trying to figure out a way to escape, but the old wizard, looking defeated, tells him it's hopeless. He transferred all his power to Billy, so there's nothing more he can do. On Earth, Billy is still trying to figure out the sisters' powers. He realizes he needs to regroup and make a plan. They go to the Great Library, where Steve, the magic pen, gives them enchanted scrolls that can send messages to the gods. When written on, these scrolls fold themselves into paper birds and fly directly to the recipient. Back in the divine world, Hesper summons Freddy and tries to make him reveal the real names and ages of the other 5 champions. When he refuses to talk, Calypso steps in using her chaos magic to inflict searing pain upon him. But even in agony, Freddy grits his teeth and refuses to give up his family's secrets. Just as Calypso is about to get more aggressive, Hesper's paper bird flies in, carrying Billy's message. She tells her sister to back off so she can read it. In the letter, Billy proposes a deal: the powers of the 5 champions in exchange for Freddy's life. Calypso, clearly eager for a fight, agrees to the trade. She orders her minions to throw Freddy and the wizard down a well. They are deep, dark pits guarded by Layden, a terrifying monster that can instill fear just by looking at you. As the creature approaches, Freddy and the wizard brace for the worst, but at the last second Anthea intervenes. Despite also being a daughter of Atlas, she has developed feelings for Freddy and decides to switch sides, pulling them both out of the pit. She releases them into a maze, quickly explaining that the exit to the human world is in the center and pointing them in the right direction before hastily leaving. On Earth, Billy meets with Hesper and tries to negotiate for Freddy's return and the removal of the dome around the city. But when Hesper refuses, demanding all her powers back, Billy calls the rest of the family for backup. Anticipating this, Calypso lunges from the shadows, striking Peter with the staff and instantly draining his power. Darla distracts Calypso while Eugene zaps her with a bolt of energy. But Hesper is still a problem, and she lands a brutal kick on Billy, then quickly incapacitates Eugene and Darla with a wave of her hand. Billy recovers from the blow, soars into the air, and slams Hesper onto the pavement, freeing his siblings. But underground, things take another turn. Hesper overpowers Shazam, slamming him into a support column, sending cracks spreading across the wall. Just then, Mary and Darla burst into the basement. They grab Hesper by the arms and wrestle her to the ground. Billy joins in, smashing her with enough force to crack the concrete floor. But Hesper isn't done yet. She breaks free, binds the sisters in a tangle of metal wires, and throws a heavy wooden crate at Billy, knocking him flat. Hesper grabs Shazam and begins smashing him against the wall, shattering chunks of concrete with each impact. Finally, she uses her elemental powers to form a giant ball of garbage ready to crush him once and for all. But at the last second, Billy zips out of the way with super speed and lets her own attack slam into her. With the sisters freed and Hesper temporarily down, Billy drags her to the nearest chemical toilet, which acts as a hidden portal to the Rock of Eternity. With Hesper captured, the siblings lock her up and go to the library to write a message offering a trade. Freddy for Hesper. But they don't realize she still has her powers and melts her cell door, escaping without anyone noticing. Meanwhile, Darla goes to the cell to bring her some Skittles, only to find it empty. Hesper, now free, grabs an old apple from a table in the Great Library and heads to the door room, slipping into the maze just as Freddy and the wizard are about to escape. She dusts off the apple, revealing it is actually the fruit of the Tree of Life. The moment the wizard sees the apple, he knows it cannot fall into their hands. Back in the main hall, Hesper presents the seed to her sisters. They want to use it to restore the realm of the gods, but Calypso has a darker plan. She wants to plant the tree on Earth, which would annihilate the planet. Meanwhile, Billy and the others follow Hesper's trail through the Rock of Eternity. Freddy, hiding behind a statue, spots the fruit and grabs it, but he bumps into a pedestal, knocking it over with a loud crash and giving away his position. Hesper grabs the staff, ready to strike, but a strange sound echoes through the hall, distracting the sisters long enough for Shazam to swoop in and snatch the staff. But he fumbles it, accidentally throwing it back towards Calypso, who catches it with a grin. In the chaos, Freddy touches his crutch to the staff, instantly restoring his powers. He grabs the apple and runs. Furious, Hesper demands the staff, but Calypso refuses, summoning the dragon Layden to hunt down the fleeing heroes. The kids burst out of the Rock of Eternity and fly into the sky with the dragon in hot pursuit. They hide in a scrapyard to try and make a plan, but Calypso catches up, easily draining the powers of Freddy, Eugene, and Darla with a single blow. In a desperate move, Billy pulls out the Fruit of Life and throws it into the air. Mary catches it mid-flight and speeds off, trying to put as much distance as possible between them and Calypso. As Mary tries to evade both the dragon and Calypso, she's hit by the staff in mid-air. Instantly losing her powers, Billy, forced to choose between saving his sister or getting the apple, decides to rescue Mary, taking her to safety while Calypso plants the Seed of Life in the middle of a baseball field. The roots spread rapidly, spawning mythical creatures like centaurs, harpies, cyclops, and manticore, causing utter chaos. From a nearby rooftop, Billy and his family watch the madness unfold. Anthea arrives, insisting she can talk some sense into Hesper. When she reaches her sisters, Anthea argues that the tree has been corrupted and they should use the fruit's power to rebuild their realm, not for destruction. Hesper, realizing Calypso has gone too far, decides to end the chaos, but Layden, still under Calypso's control, impales her, leaving a mortal wound. Seeing her sister siding with the humans, Calypso turns her staff on Anthea, who tries to teleport out of the way but is still hit by the blast. Losing her powers and falling into the crowd like a normal person. Now the only one left with powers, Billy tells his family to lure the monsters away from the stadium while he deals with Calypso and the dragon. The group runs to the center of town to distract the creatures, but they quickly realize this won't be enough. Darla has a bold idea and asks Steve what these monsters fear most. The pen immediately scribbles the answer: unicorns. Although the wizard warns that real unicorns are nothing like the cute ponies in children's books, Darla is adamant that it's worth a shot. She learns from Steve that these dark, powerful creatures live in caves and eat the food of the gods. The group sets out to find one, but Freddy spots Anthea staggering through the chaos and splits off from the team to help her. Meanwhile, Billy finally catches up to the dragon and lands a punch so hard that the beast crashes through a building. But Calypso quickly regains control, ordering the dragon to unleash a stream of fire that sets Billy's suit ablaze. Billy dodges the next attack and throws a car at the dragon, only to have his energy absorbed by the staff when he tries to attack Calypso head-on. Shazam decides his only chance is to overload the staff. He wakes Hesper and presents his plan to her. She confirms his theory. If he channels enough power into the staff, its magical core will overload, essentially turning it into a bomb that will blow everything inside the dome sky high. At the same time, Darla finally finds a hiding unicorn. The creature charges at her, but she stands her ground and throws a handful of rainbow-colored Skittles at it. The unicorn screeches to a halt at the last second, sniffing the candies before devouring them as if they were pure ambrosia. Darla has gained the loyalty of the unicorns, and soon she is riding them through the city, decimating the mythical creatures left and right as her sugar-fueled army takes over the streets. Near the edge of the city, Freddy and Anthea end up hiding with a group of civilians when Calypso appears on her massive dragon, Layden. Chaos erupts as Calypso orders the monster to use its mind control powers to destroy them all. But since Freddy was never exactly mentally stable, the dragon's mind games are completely ineffective on him. He grabs Anthea and pulls her to safety just in time to snap her out of her trance. Then, Billy flies in, snatching the staff from Calypso's hands. He speeds toward the Tree of Life. The staff sparks with stolen power. As he approaches, Hesper lowers the protective dome around the tree just as they planned, giving Billy a clear shot. He heads for the center of the stadium. Lightning flashes around him as he begins to bombard the dome, supercharging the staff. But before he can deliver the final blow, the dragon strikes. Billy flies straight into its path, taking a fatal hit. On his second pass, he punches the dragon square in the face, dislocating its jaw and sending it spiraling backward. Feeling the staff is fully charged, Billy lets out a battle cry, shouting "Shazam!" and plunges the staff into the core of the dome. The explosion is colossal. A blinding white light fries every electrical circuit in the state. The dragon collapses and every creature Darla lured to the center is vaporized on the spot, but the cost is immense. When the dust settles, Billy's body lies broken, his power depleted. His family rushes to his side. He is gone. Later, in the realm of the gods, Anthea insists on a proper burial for Billy under a tree, amidst the ruins of their shattered world. As the family mourns, Darla asks the wizard if there's any way to bring the kingdom back. The old man sighs, admitting that only a god could restore what was lost. And as far as he knows, there are no gods left. Then, out of nowhere, Wonder Woman appears, casually striding into the scene. She snatches the staff from the wizard's hands, slams it into the ground, and the entire realm comes back to life. Trees, grass, even Anthea's powers return. The magic is so strong that it even brings Billy back from the dead. Shocked and overjoyed, he embraces his family as they celebrate their reunion. The realm of the gods is restored. The dome is destroyed. That's the end of the story for today. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next movies. Thank you.